All right, well, the DA Gauteng leader, Msimanga, now joins us for a conversation. Very good evening to you, Solly. Thanks for being with us this evening. So I take it that, you've taken in, the joy, the win against the two prominent leaders within your party to lead the DA in Gauteng. You now have something else, in fact, to face. But what did that initial victory represent, or what did it mean, for you?
Well, thank you very much, Flo, and good evening to the viewers at home. I think it means that the support and the level of trust that the party has bestowed in me is something that I cannot, really misuse. And it's something that I think I need to then really take in my strides to ensure that I work as hard. Ensuring that we're able to then deliver Gauteng, from the glimpse of collapse where we do believe that we're finding ourselves in. So I do take it all in, and I think this is something that is a great honor for me to have been, really chosen to lead the campaign in Gauteng in 2024 and also building up to 2026 as well. Yeah. I don't take this very lightly.
Obviously, now as the premier candidate, I would assume that, you would have identified, some of the major sort of obstacles or challenges that are faced by this highly contested province of Gauteng, which I suppose might be unique to Gauteng. What are some of those challenges that, you're looking at that, need urgent sort of attention?
Well, look, I think, first of all, we need to get the voters to go out there and, to get them enthused about registering and about voting. South Africa has about 13 million people that are registered that are not voting. 13 million of those people who are eligible to be registered and to vote who are not registered. And we have 14 million people that are registered but are not turning out to vote. And you find that majority of those, let's 60% of those are people that are within Gauteng. Therefore, the work that is lying ahead of us is to make sure that not only do we turn out as many people to be registered, but we get them to come out and vote. And what I said we will do here in Gauteng is that we're not going to be focusing on bashing the ANC. That is something that I'm not prepared to do. What we want to do is we want to then say, what is the alternative? How are we going to present the alternative to the people of Gauteng? And those are some of the things that we are going to be talking to then say, we want to then ensure that Gauteng is actually working. Because if Gauteng begins to work, is what will make South Africa work at the end of the day. So 3 things that I will quickly touch on. One is that we want to make sure that there is an infrastructure master plan. I've been asking for this for a very, very long time from the Gauteng leadership that has been here in the legislature for quite a long time. But they failed to produce one. There's no way that you will be able to have a plan to deliver services if you cannot really, have a quantitative and a qualitative, a plan in which you're able to then see what you have, what you don't have, how much is it going to cost you to replace, how much is it going to cost you to build a new infrastructure around water, around electricity, around roads. And this is something that we want to then do. That will be in conjunction with the municipalities that we have. Yeah. The second thing is,
No, carry on. I didn't interrupt.
The second thing that we want to then do, Flo, is that we want to make sure that there is a proper Gauteng safety plan. Now, we know that, as things stand, everything is done at a national level. But at the same time, we're not able to adequately respond, to the crimes that are actually crippling, our country, that are really bringing our country to its knees. In Gauteng, we need to ensure that there is a unit that deals specifically with the illegal mining that is taking place. Yeah. We need to make sure that there is a unit that is dealing specifically with the issues of the zamazamas that are there. We need to have a unit that works with the municipalities to look into cracking down on the syndicates that are actually hijacking our buildings. We need to deal with issues of drug and substance abuse that in Gauteng is very, very high. But over above that, we need to then ensure that our police stations are then working adequately. Now, this issues of just having, people in green overalls and then just going up and down our streets is not helping. What we need is to make sure that we have the men in blue, we have more resources for the men in blue, and we can train more so that they're able to join the ranks and they can then fight crime and have the units and the expertise to then deal with. That's the second thing.
You know that the DA has faced. Let me just quickly go here, Solly. The DA has faced criticism in that, where they lead, their focus primarily has been on the haves and not the have-nots. I mean, if one was to zoom in on, let's say, the Western Cape, how will you remove that sort of perception? I mean, I hear you talking about dealing with issues like service delivery, whether it's drugs in the streets and so forth. But this is a big, perception, of people who perhaps support other parties. So what do you make of that particular perception? And I suppose as someone wanting to lead Gauteng province, you then want to look into that, especially given the fact that there are such disparities and inequalities in Gauteng province.
Well, the disparities and the equalities are there, and they're all over. But if you were to then compare the stats speak for themselves. Where the DA is in government, go and look where we spend majority of our funds in the Western Cape. We find we try and bring service delivery, up to a certain level, compared to where we would have otherwise have found municipalities or actually the province when we took over. We have built world-class, hospital and clinics in places like Khayelitsha. We continue to build libraries. We continue to build tar roads. We continue to build houses more than any other province here. And you come here in Gauteng, you go to Midvaal, where we have places like Shicelo, where we have Savannah City and the surrounding areas, where services are actually then going to the people. So we can go on and on. But we realize and we know that this is more of, if you fail to then, put a compelling argument out there, then the next thing is to then use rates to then win elections. And this is something that we are going to then fight head on now. We're not going to shy away. We're going to give facts. We're going to show what we have done. As I said, we need to be able to then show what is the alternative. Yeah. And if we can do that, we should be able to then win the battle going forward.
Some people might want to limit you to Tshwane. I heard the DA leader there talking about the fact that, you hail from Atteridgeville. And a lot of people, when you talk about Msimanga, you're talking Pretoria, you're talking Tshwane. But I would assume that, there's a lot of experience, given that, you'd want to bring in the whole province if you are to lead. What is that particular experience that, you would bring to the fore if, your experience primarily is Tshwane?
Well, my experience has not been in Tshwane alone. I've been a member of the provincial legislature since 2014, and I joined Tshwane in 2016, and then I went back in 2019 again, and I've spent the last 4 years. Next year will be 5 years that I've been there. I've been member of, the Commonwealth, where we had been actually then, exchanging ideas with our counterparts all over Africa and all over the world, where we have been looking at where we are and what can be done, in order to change the circumstances that we find ourselves in. I've been member of the National Council of Provinces, or, a special delegate there, where we have been able to then address issues relating to Gauteng there. I've crisscrossed as the leader of Gauteng, across this province, understand what is, the challenges that are there, and we able to then look in terms of how we will be able to then deal with addressing these issues going forward. Whether you're talking about how we're able to then get the cooperation and coordination of municipalities with the provincial government, whether you're able to talk about how do we get the economy going, whether we talk about the issues that I've just raised with you earlier on about safety and security, those are some of the things, or infrastructure. Those are some of the things that I have an intimate, understanding of, as we now have already started also putting together what we want to call the Ready to Govern document, which will look in terms of, some of these things that I'm talking to, and being able to then inform our manifesto going forward. We don't want to put a manifesto that is just going to be some sucked, but we want to put a manifesto that is based on research, that is based on science, that is also based on us putting a contract in front of the people of Gauteng and say, this is a contract between you and us. Let's agree on it, and let's make sure that we're able to, get this going. And also, lastly, is the fact that I've been at the forefront of leading the coalitions, not only in Tshwane, but across Gauteng. So I come with, that lot of experience in not only from understanding how government should work, but also understanding how coalitions are going to, matter going then forward.
Msimanga, many thanks to you. That is DA Gauteng leader, Msimanga.